What is the ballpark? What is the turnover in your roster year over year?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, we actually had the second fewest portal entries in the whole Power Four, and then last year, we had a little bit more, obviously with our success, and then some guys not getting opportunities and us wanting to retain some of our key kind of contributors. It meant some of initially our depth guys moved on, but we from a percentage standpoint, like working off a 105-man roster, like 10 to 12% is what we'd like turnover in the portal. Obviously, we'd replace, like, there's some situations where, if we have some seniors at a certain position and then a bunch of freshmen and there's a gap with juniors or sophomores, that's when we'll look to add to the portal to add experience. But for the most part, we do like to develop our own.
So, how much of your time and Coach Diaz's time is spent recruiting both the high school kid, the transfer portal candidate, but then also your own players to retain them?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So I think Preston and his team, the scouting team, they do a great job with our position coaches on really recruiting those high school kids early on. Obviously, Coach Diaz and I will spend time, we'll be calling them when allowed and texting them and doing things like that. And then when they come on campus, we'll speak to them. But that high school recruiting, the main kind of chunk of that high school recruiting falls on Preston, his team, and then our position coaches. Then when it comes to the portal, I mean, the portal recruiting cycle is so small. It's like, probably to further dive into your initial question, it's okay. Once the kid's in the portal, you agree on the money, you agree on the that they can get in academically. You get them here for a visit, 24, 36-hour visit, and then they commit or they don't commit, because you can't obviously recruit another school's kid during the non-portal cycle. So because of that, that's a lot shorter process than high school. And then, the retention of our own roster, that's ongoing. That is almost a year, a 24/7 thing, from Coach Diaz to the position coaches to me, always, checking in our roster, making sure that they're actually, Duke kids are quite intelligent. So making sure that they are across what our plans are for their position, how we can maximize them, their development. They always need to know that. So being transparent with that communication. But probably out of those three buckets for me, it's the retention of our own roster that's vital, or that I spend most of my time on.
Do you guys have anything built into your models that is predictive of who's more at risk of trying to transfer? Or is there a type of player that you identify early in the process and say, we have to spend more time trying to recruit this player or re-recruit this player to retain him because they are more of a flight risk?
Yeah, it's not something that we've probably got into a model, but it's through conversations with their position coach, with their families, with their agents, is really understanding, okay, these guys could be a flight risk, and then notifying. And then, we've got to make a decision. Okay, like, if this is a player who's asking for way too much money and it distorts our salary cap structure, we might have to be comfortable with letting that player go. And that's something that we have done, especially this year, where some players were asking for too much money for relative to their positional value or their output, that we just told them up front, we'd love for you to stay, but we can't afford what you're asking, and it might be in your best interest to leave. So those tough decisions have to be made as well.